Ready?
Got open man. DJ Moore. End zone. Touchdown. Touchdown Bears.
I am Jeff Joniak.
Blitz is on. Down he goes. Oscar.
What was it like playing for Coach Ditka?
I don't want to answer any questions like that.
Pressure coming. He's in big trouble. Down he goes. Montez Sweat.
And now, Bears Etc. brought to you by Miller Lite with the voices of the Bears, Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer.
Our Bears family extends well beyond the playing field and the locker room. It consists of a significant number of difference makers in multiple positions and departments throughout Hallis Hall, and one of them is our special guest on episode 74 of the Bears Etc. podcast with Super Bowl winning Bears guard Tom Thayer. I'm the voice of the Bears, Jeff Joniak. Special thanks to our producer, Katie Fox. Our special guest this week is the Bears Director of Player Engagement, Erika Marmolejo, featured last season on ChicagoBears.com by writer Larry Mayer in honor of Latino Heritage Month. Erika joined the Bears in 2020, of course, hired during the pandemic. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for carving out time in what really is your first day of summer vacation. But you're still working.
Yes, it never stops. Yes, thanks for having me, Jeff. I appreciate being here.
Hey, Erika, for the people outside the organization and outside of professional sports, can you define player engagement for those people who are hearing of that for the first time?
Sure. So throughout the NFL, each team has a director of player engagement, and we really focus on programming our players, providing the educational support and tools they need to succeed off the field. So that really pertains to about four major pillars of continued education, just really having an emphasis in helping our guys graduate as they come in. There's a lot of third and fourth year out of college players. So really just kind of helping them succeed and attain that degree. So that's one pillar. And then the financial literacy aspect, professional development, and then personal development.
Because it's something that they really didn't have when I was going through the NFL. You have a significant sports background. Your life opportunity to go through sports, does that help you relate to the players on more of a one-on-one relationship because you understand the competitiveness of the game, kind of help you relate to them better?
Absolutely, yeah, 1,000%. I think just being around sports my whole life, playing them competitively, it's definitely an advantage, definitely helps just from a relatability standpoint for sure.
This episode of Bears Etc. brought to you by Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller time. Go to MillerLite.com/BearsPod to find delivery options near you. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. You know, Dwayne Joseph, I believe, was one of, if not the first for the Bears, who played for the Bears, a good friend of ours, just leaving the Raiders to come into the division to the Detroit Lions now, Erika, and you may know him very well. And it was an ex-player. It was always an ex-player, but that has really branched out. I know you studied law as well. You had a background. You wanted to be in journalism potentially. You wanted to maybe be at ESPN on camera, off camera. And your experience levels were multiple touch points of professional and amateur sports, as well as playing in softball at Azusa Pacific as a player. So much to pull from that. It doesn't have to be an ex-player. And that's clearly the case here throughout the league right now. How significant is that? Because I think it's a broader spectrum of backgrounds and knowledge bases that you're bringing to the table to help these young men.
Yeah, absolutely. Funny story, ironically enough, I did have a player say that to me as well. And it's such an interesting topic of conversation. And I think, the reality of it is yes, you provide that versatility from your own personal background and what you can provide to the players. But I also just think it's whatever suits that locker room culturally. Every locker room is different. Geographically, every place is different. So I think it just depends on the needs of whatever it is that locker room, that organization's trying to build and pursue. Everyone has different fits, different needs, different wants, expectations, different players, different backgrounds. So I think what we have here really works for our guys, and we have a great support system within the building. What we're building within, I think, is something really special. And I think it speaks to our locker room and how we're trying to help them succeed both on and off the field.
And you look at rookies, you look at young players as maybe needing the more of the impactful transition and the help that they can get. Some are homesick, some come from a long way. The unique draft class we have here, and an Australian whose family is in Melbourne, and Tory Taylor, the punter from Iowa, and that's a long trip that they're going to have to take to go see their son play football. throughout the National Football League this year, and the number 1 overall pick, who happens to be a great quarterback in Caleb Williams, and then his buddy Roma Dunze at number 9. It's a lot, but it's also the veteran who's got issues or a family issue or mental health. You have to bridge a lot of gaps here and how you treat each one. Do you have to treat each one of those individually and the type of things you're going to bring to the table for them to get them adjusted?
Absolutely. I mean, you get to a point in building a relationship with players from a standpoint of, you know, when to approach them, you know, how to approach them, you know, when not to, and when to say certain things, what not to say. Again, everybody, this is just, I think just a good piece of tip for life is everybody responds to things differently. So I think just kind of understanding that and taking that approach, you know, you're going to get something out of one guy from one approach that you may not get from another guy. So I think it's just being relatable, being adaptable, meeting players where they're at, and just taking that approach on a daily basis.
You know, Erika, when I came out of college, most guys went to college for 4 years and then came out after their senior year, sometimes the 5th year if they were injured. When you find these guys that are coming out maybe a sophomore year eligibility-wise or a junior year, do you have to encourage them to keep the mindset of going back to college and, you know, pursuing their degree? Or do you find a lot of these guys that are coming out of college, maybe before they get their degree, they still have their sights set on getting a degree? Super encouraged this year by Thayer Stevenson going back and getting his degree. So proud of him for that. But what about the other guys that you've dealt with in this role?
Yeah, it varies. We've got a couple guys actually who went back this year, and one in particular as well. We got Tyreek, we had Tyler Scott, who's also finishing undergrad, and then Quindell Johnson actually just went back and got his master's. So it just varies for different players and where they're at and their you know, walks of life and what they want to do, what they choose to do. We have other guys who are pursuing. The NFL does a really good job of providing certificates from major universities. So while they may not have the time or ability to go back to school at the moment, they can still attain certificates in areas of interest. So I think that's really neat. We do a really good job, I think, as a league of providing the professional development opportunities for them, externships, internships, networking. We just took the rookie class to LinkedIn. So I think just kind of opening their horizons to opportunities like that, whether it be during their career or setting them up for success after their career, I think is super important.
You know, when you look back at the years I played football and you look at the financial failure of so many players after they got done playing football, is there a different path that you take in encouragement of recognizing the decisions they should make and the route they should take in terms of sustaining that financial success?
You know, we it's really good that it's part of our rookie success program and that we have that tailored to them. We have a speaker come in about 4 times a year. The NFL also requires a 2nd and 3rd year financial literacy program. So even after rookie year, it doesn't stop. We continue to navigate just the different areas. It could be real estate. It could be will and estate planning. It could be 401k. I mean, there's just so many areas of emphasis. A lot of guys have foundations. So just making sure we educate them on the 501c3 process, nonprofits, how to attain LLCs. There's just so many different layers besides your average paycheck where they can just continue to attain that knowledge and education on. So I think here we've done a really good job of trying to be versatile in that approach.
We're brought to you by PNC, official bank of the Bears. So many things to discuss. This is a job. This is a profession. There is professional development. There are financial issues. There are issues at home. There is marriages. There is breakup of marriages. There is so many things that people just don't think about for these players. So they go on the field between the white lines, and we often hear that as being an escape the field. Are you almost developing a bridge to off-field life as well as you're worried about helping this team get the best possible players ready for a successful contention for a Super Bowl?
Yes, absolutely. It starts now in whatever capacity that is, whether it's assisting a player on building their brand, whether it's, like we mentioned previously, starting a foundation, whether it's setting yourself up for life after football. You got to start now. And I think that goes along to, anybody and the average person as we're planning our Roth IRAs and 401ks, and we're planning for our post careers and things of that nature. Similar concept to our players. It's just helping them see the leverage that they can attain with their platforms and taking advantage of those opportunities and having different interests and how they want to use their voice and how we can help amplify that. So, definitely, I think player engagement as a whole is beneficial and helpful for the player and for the organization. It's such a sensitive space as well, too, because as you mentioned, what players go through on a daily basis. So I think I've always taken that behind the scenes kind of black ops approach because of that. And so I think just a lot of people don't really know that exists. But it's a testament to the confidentiality, the relationships with players. We don't have any skin in the game when it comes to X's and O's. So I think just being able to see the success from a character standpoint, from a teammate, culturally, we may see things during the week, Monday through Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday being able to see them perform. It's a different joy that we get from that. So I think having that support from the front office, from Ryan, from Ian, from Coach, from Kevin and George, all the way to the top. I mean, it really is a family vibe here. I think these players are truly supported both on and off the field to the full extent.
Erika, I always feel every draft class is its own unique type. How would you characterize the 2024 draft class? Does it have its own personality? Because they get to know each other first and get to know each other well.
They do, yeah. No, they've been an exciting draft class. I think, especially with this program being a little bit more condensed, because having to come back to prepare for the Hall of Fame game quickly. They have worked hard. I mean, I really appreciate what the universities and what they're doing for these young players and coming in with some experience, whether that be, NIL, financial space, programming, whatever it is that they're doing to prepare them. It's really beneficial for us because they have somewhat of an understanding of player engagement and the development piece, the programming piece. But once you start intertwining our, whether it's our total wellness, led by our team clinician, Carla Suber, who does a great job with our rookies in particular. And then my assistant this year, Bryce McAllister, has done a great job. And everybody in-house, once you start bringing in these resources to bring around the players and help them understand what they've just kind of stepped into, whether you've played football for however long you've played, whatever you've studied in college and 3 to 4 years, you're now walking into adulthood. So now just helping them make that transition into that next space of life. It's interesting with this class. They are attentive. They ask questions. They work hard. They're excited. It's been really cool. It's been really cool to see them prosper during this offseason.
Erika, as the director of player engagement, do you have to read people? Do you have to read the players by maybe an expression or the way they're carrying themselves, or if you can tell they're going through something difficult mentally or something? Do you read them on as you see them out on the practice field or walking through the building or going to meeting rooms?
I do, and it's funny because you spend so much time together. You spend more time at work than you do with your family, so right. You start to see little nuances and characteristics, and you almost become a scout without trying to. So you start studying these different body language and things of that nature, and they don't really realize it. And I'll ask some of them sometimes, like, just, hey, you good? They'll be like, how did you know? Right. So it's so funny, and that just goes into conversation. But so we'll definitely pick up on little things here and there, and I mean, again, you spend so much time together to the point where you start to differentiate. Some people are just not morning people, and that's just we come in the building very, very early. So I think if you're a little bit more sluggish than others in the morning, that's just trying to gain routine. That's just having a different mindset. Some people are real early risers, some people are not. So I think just understanding that too when it comes to body language, of some people just need a couple more hours as opposed to others. Like it goes back to what I said earlier with timing. There's times where you want to approach guys, there's times where you don't. You have your major veterans and then you have your young rookie class. So just being able to differentiate that and allow that space for them to process as well.
So being involved in sports yourself, being around different sports in terms of an employee, and now being with the Bears, is there similarities to everything?
If you really break it down to the simplest form, it's really just navigating life in whatever capacity that is. And for our players, they're blessed with the opportunity for that job to just be navigating football. So I think just taking in the football aspect to it and the sport and the demand throughout the building every day. And then on top of that, you're navigating life, but at such a young age. And, we're trying to do all this together. And I think if you really break it down to the simplest form, yes, there's a lot of similarities because you're just you're navigating life with a lot of heightened realities that come into play with it. And so, like I said, going back to the resources and that we have in place for everybody, you really start to understand the why of throughout the year, throughout the season, the demand, the performance demand, the business side of it, the games, the being in, basically working 7 days a week, coming on this break, the schedule is almost not normal. So I think just kind of getting even our families to understand this, my own family to understand this, I've been navigating it for years. It's not your typical 9 to 5. And so kind of what that looks like of, yes, maybe we have a couple weeks off here approaching before training camp, but during the season and during training camp, you don't have any days off. So I think just understanding why it's so important to have these resources around you. I think as they go throughout the year and navigate their career, they start to realize the why behind that.
Erika, you are so right. I don't know how many times Tom and I get asked even things like, are you going to be at the game on Sunday? Or what do you guys do the rest of the year? You call 17 games, three preseason games, and hopefully the playoffs and Super Bowl. What do you do the rest of the year? No, it's constant. There's nothing like it, and there's no way you don't love it. You'd have to be in it in this, and it is a grind. This is fun, but it's challenging, and it does challenge you in many ways. And when it's time to tackle some game day deals, go with a grocer who's been a part of Chicago since 1899. Jewel Osco, the official grocery store of the Chicago Bears, and Vizzy Hard Seltzer. Flavors for every vibe. Celebrate responsibly. Molson Coors Beverage Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I got to tell you, whenever I do any public speaking that involves the Bears, whether it be groups from an advertiser, a partner, or just fans, season ticket holders, I always emphasize the importance of the whole building. It's not just the guys we're looking at on the field, the guys in the locker room, and yes, that's the fan interaction part of it, but this is a big building. It has grown significantly since Tom was practicing at Old Lake Forest College down the road in downtown Lake Forest, and when I first started in 1985. So it's people like you. So a short story, as I walk down to the locker room during the season for media availability hour, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, Erika's always there. She's outside the locker room greeting players, and she's got an ever-present smile. And then it gets serious when somebody may need some attention. You can see her face change. So when you talk about reading body language, I read yours too to get a sense of what's going on. But I can't think of a more pleasant individual that carries so many different hats in this very complex sport of football. It's, to me, unlike any other sport. And obviously you had touch points with the NBA with Fresno State basketball and played softball and were with the Bulls for a time. Just football's different. Do you get that same vibe that I'm trying to explain here?
It is. It's an exciting sport to be around. I mean, especially when you get to game day and you kind of look around, you see the stadium and the flyover, and every game, it's just such an emotional thing. The game itself, there's passion, there's emotion, there's competitive, and sure, that's in every sport, but I think football's unique. You get one game a week. Everything all week you're preparing, you're in early, you're there late. Like you said, it's a grind. And while there's some routine to football, whether that be throughout the season, whether that be every year, while the schedule's a little bit routine, you're doing it together as a family, you're competing together as a unit. And so it's exciting. It's interesting because while it's entertainment for everyone else, it's real for us. It's real life. And whether that be on a regular daily basis, whether that's dealing with life amongst each other, players, staff, the personal aspect that comes into play, or whether that's just dealing with, a daily life as an athlete, the sports side of it as well. So it's real. Jobs are on the line, and just seeing like the guys compete every single day and give it their all, their grind, the sacrifice, the physical, mental, spiritual, emotional investment that goes into it, you start to see a different side, and you have a lot of respect I have so much respect for these guys and for their families and for our coaches and staff and just everything that goes into this. It is a 1,000%. It's a grind.
Tom, would it have made a difference in your career?
100%.
Yeah.
I think of the director of player engagement. I think of the nutrition and the hydration staff. I think of the training facility, just the nutritional part of it. There's so many elements to it that would have made such a significant difference in my career. Erika, one thing I wanted to ask you about before you get out of here is, so I've been around the NFL since 1983, and I'm not trying to date myself. I'm trying to make a point of, I've thought I've seen it all. I've never been around Hard Knocks. So when you talk about director of player engagement, is there anything that you are concerned about in your role with that show, or is there any coaching that you're doing to this young group of men that have never been around it because the Bears have never been on it?
No, it's funny. When I was a college athlete, I wish I had this too. I wish I had this space too to just kind of help me navigate things. So I think to that point, to that credit, again, like with all the education that we have and provide, media is a part of that as well. And that's also a part of our veteran programming. So we do a media education in-house. So having our crew that comes in and educates, whether it be our rookies, whether it be their families, recently just did a rookie family symposium for our draft pick. So having that education for them as well was pretty eye-opening for them. And then I think just the veteran programming that we do as well during training camp with our media training is huge because it's a preparation for all that. Definitely no concerns. I mean, it's business as usual for us. If anything, we have something so special here that my mentality and message has been, sure, document it. You want to see it because it's going to be special. So I'm just really excited for this group.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it as well. Like I said, I've been a fan of it, watching it on TV, but I think it's different when you roll into the facility every day as a rookie trying to make the team, or a veteran that's been around, and you see all the trucks and the boom mics and everything. It's fortunate, I think, that a couple of coaches have been a part of the filming of Hard Knocks, so maybe they can give a couple hints or clues as to what's going on. But I think it's going to make training camp more interesting for the fans, not let alone Caleb and the rookie crew. So I think it's really going to be an exciting atmosphere around here once the real training camp kicks off.
For sure. I think it'll be positive. I'm excited, if anything, to highlight the unique things that we're doing for our guys. So I think that's going to be a positive for sure.
It helps that Coach Flus was involved with that with Indianapolis for sure. How important, this is almost a ridiculous question, but too many times in professional sports, sometimes players are told things they want to hear, not what they need to hear. How important is it for you to be, frankly, blunt on all things and know that they may not like what they're hearing, but, man, it's going to help you in the end, trust me. And then, because all it takes is one guy to tell 10, okay, you can trust this woman. You can trust her department. Go to her if you need something. Is that something that you take seriously?
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, I follow a motto of people don't care what you know until they know that you care. And that goes for any player. And they know that the minute they walk in the building, whether you're a free agent, whether you've recently been traded to our team, whether you just made the team, a rookie, veteran, it really doesn't matter whatever your walk of life is. You're here and you're going to be treated as a bear, as such. It's the same approach. We really care truly for our guys in every aspect, every reality. And even, even when it comes to cut time, when you're released, we're still helping our guys navigate, transition to the next team. If you're done with your playing career, I'm still reaching out to guys, helping them through retirement, helping guys land different jobs. So it really never ends in this space. I think that goes into the prep life next player engagement mentality motto there. But just, again, like providing that safe space, relationships, trust, confidentiality, and really respect. And just, Flus has a big thing with respect in the building in general. So I think just knowing that the guys have a safe space to go to when they need that, it's really crucial, especially on the day-to-day.
Tom, the other day brought up the second-year players that we're looking to see and emerge. Like, it's always that jump from one year to the next, especially from rookie to year two to year three. But right now, this is a team that is a lot of dudes. They got some really good talent, and now the second-year players. Can you notice the difference in them? That group. It's a group of about 10 guys.
Yeah, that's also a really cool jump. Once you see, I look at like guys, this isn't second year guys, but I look at guys like Jalen Johnson and Cole Kmet on their second contracts. We came in as rookies together. That was my first year. So that's just like, it's like a proud moment when you see them and where they're at in their careers now to how they started. It's incredible. So you see that as well for our second year guys start to go down that path, and just seeing the hard work they've put in and the transition, and now they've had a different offseason. It looks different now. This is kind of their first offseason transition in. It's exciting, and they're maturing and turning into veterans and leaders on the team quickly. And so that's really exciting to see what lies ahead for their season upcoming.
Eric, I think I read that you said that your dad was a big influence in you getting in sports business. Is that true? Did I read the truth?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now you've been able to, accomplish what you've been able to accomplish at such a young age, and you have a long way to go. Where does he go from here? Does he want to know about your business? Does he have words of advice for your business?
Yeah, he definitely does. I talk to my parents often, both of them. Mom is like my best friend, and dad is still like my best friend, but still thinks, still approaches me as a player, as an athlete. So we have those conversations on a daily basis. And it really, honestly, I will say it's shaped me culturally as, Mexican culture, just I think being strict and understanding that aspect, that never ends. So that's where the respect comes from and things of that nature. And actually going to see my dad this weekend for Father's Day. But we have those conversations all the time where he's still dad mode on me, where I call him and I'm like, Dad, I just need you to just be my dad for a second. Just listen to me. And he'll give me his advice. And then, he'll turn into the other dad mode and is like, do you have your 401k set? Do you have this? So I think just that's really where I get it from. There's never that feeling of gratification where you feel really good about something and it's over. It's always about, okay, great. It's great that you accomplished that. Now what's next? And constantly striving to get better and improve. And so I think getting that from my parents and translating that into what I do now, it creates that servant mentality where you never feel satisfied. You're always hungry to do better, to do more, to improve. And you need that in this business. You should always constantly strive to get better.
Tom, Kelly, and Caitlin, you know them well. Tom, I hear this
Yes.
now. This is proof. Erika just proved it to me that I just can't go into dad mode. They want to vent, you listen, and then maybe we'll circle back 3 weeks later. Okay.
I love to tell them in the front end.
Exactly. Maybe that should be the case. Just let me know that you're in dad mode right now, and then we can proceed.
So when you have a player that comes in, nowadays their representation is such an important part of their role and their development. As director of player engagement, do you deal with that side of the player, or do you deal with the player exclusively?
A little bit of both. I mean, I definitely deal with the player exclusively, but we're here to help. So we're always happy to help, whether it's management team, whether it's agencies. And again, that just comes with the territory of whether they're at a game, whether they have questions about, we're kind of tag teaming, helping players transition with housing. Sometimes they need their pay stubs to get over to their financial advisor, and they're helping the players. So there's definitely communication there, but I would say exclusively with the player, but we're always kind of helping in different layers and with different folks of their management teams.
Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Our final moments with Erika Marmolejo. Appreciate your time. I know it's valuable, and you need some break time as well, and it's coming to you. Lastly, circling back to Caleb and Rome, and not to just separate them, and in particular, when you get a quarterback, it's all hands on deck to make that as easy transition as possible in a high demand and high attention position, certainly in this town. Anything special that you do in that regard to help Caleb and Rome as first-round picks adjust, and because everybody wants a piece of the quarterback, right? Outside vendors, marketing, media, he's got a circle. We got the job to get done. We got a lot of offensive coaches. You name it, there's a lot to it.
If anything, continue to help them just like along with our other rookie class members of eliminate distractions and just helping them navigate that. They're both awesome at what they do. They've had a lot of education coming in prior. They're really excited for this year. They're great leaders amongst our rookie class itself. Also, and I think we're really excited to see what they do together. But yeah, I think continuing to help them throughout the summer and seeing how they come back ready for training camp. I know they will have done a great job this off season, so really excited for them.
All right, Erika, we appreciate it. We hope you come back again as we update your progress as a professional in the National Football League. It's going to be a fun season. If you've seen the movie, is it Everything Everywhere All at Once? Did you see that movie? I did not.
I haven't seen it. I've heard of it. Yeah.
But that would be the theme for the 2024 Bears because it seems like everything everywhere all at once, correct? From the Hall of Fame to London to a first overall draft pick and a lot of great moves by General Manager Ryan Poles and his staff. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
And Hard Knocks.
And Hard Knocks. Is there anything else left?
I know, right? Yeah, Super Bowl. We're on our way.
Hey, there you go. That's the home run right there. That's good. That's a touchdown. All right, Erika, thank you. With 188 convenient locations, it's easy to touch down at any Jewel Osco store where you'll find an all-star lineup of fan-friendly favorites. Jewel Osco, Chicago's go-to local grocery store since 1899. Special thanks to Erika. For Tom, I'm Jeff. Thanks for listening, everyone. Please subscribe now on the Chicago Bears official app, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Bear down, everybody.